Hey, what's going on, guys? The HORRORman back on Hammer Horror Month with my review of Never Take Candy from a Stranger.
Stop! Hammer time!
I am astounded, stunned, almost speechless. Jason and I just got done watching Never Take Candy from a Stranger, which is featured on this 6-movie Hammer Films collection. It's also known as Never Take Sweets from a Stranger, by the way. I was actually going to wait to film this review because I just didn't know what to say. The funny thing is, I have no words, but I just want to talk about it. Never Take Candy from a Stranger was actually an alternate pick for Jason and me. We had originally compiled a list of 30 Hammer horror films to watch and review for this month. And then, when we were about halfway through the list, we decided to replace one of the movies with something else. Looking at this DVD collection, the title Never Take Candy from a Stranger caught our attention. Neither of us had seen it, although Jason thought he had at first. Turns out it did end up being a first-time watch for both of us. Believe me, if Jason had seen it in the past, he would have remembered it. It was released in 1960, so despite the synopsis we read on the back, which we found intriguing, we still didn't expect it to be as hard-hitting as it is. Never Take Candy from a Stranger is probably the most controversial movie we've watched that we haven't discussed during our Controversial View series. Yet. Immediately after the movie ended, Jason and I agreed we absolutely have to discuss this during Controversial View. And we will be doing that, eventually, because this film needs all the attention it can get. For now, though, I just want to share some of my initial thoughts in this review, since the movie ended not long ago. The opening screens have lines that read, "This story is fictitious, and it is set in Canada." That's followed up with, "But it could happen anywhere, and it could be true." There is something chilling about that, especially when you find out about the plot. Jean Carter is the 9-year-old daughter of Peter and Sally Carter, who just moved to a small town. Peter is the newly appointed high school principal. Jean's 11-year-old friend Lucille leads her into a mansion where she claims the girls can get free candy. In the mansion lives 70-year-old Clarence Olderberry Sr. Later that night, Jean informs her parents what she was asked to do in exchange for the candy. Because this video isn't a controversial view, and it's just a review, I won't go into specifics. I'll save those for when we do cover this in that series. I will say this, though. Never Take Candy from a Stranger is possibly one of the most disturbing films I've ever seen. It made me feel extremely uncomfortable. And the events that transpire after that conversation Jean has with her parents makes things even worse. There is nothing subtly implied in this movie. It's all very clearly stated, and maybe overly so, especially for its time. Did you ever watch something when you were younger, and then maybe years later you think you're remembering it wrong, or that you just made the whole thing up in your head? That's the exact feeling I had while watching Never Take Candy from a Stranger. And I just couldn't shake that feeling. It felt like it wasn't real. It couldn't be real. I honestly thought I was dreaming it, and I was going to wake up and tell Jason about my dream, about some Hammer film we watched together that doesn't even exist. But here's the thing. It does exist. And no one talks about it. Jason and I didn't even really know this movie existed, and we both owned it, obviously. We may have seen the title, but never really knew what it was about. And even when we did read the synopsis, we never expected it to be like this. I'd venture to say Never Take Candy from a Stranger is the best movie Hammer produced that you've never seen. I can't get over it. I can't get over the fact that this is real. And it was released in 1960. Wow. Just wow. Just to stray away for a second and bring some normalcy to this review, I'll say I love the setting. I really like the house where the Carters live. I like the school, or should I say, the principal's office, which we see often throughout the film. I like the woods by the lake and the creepy old house. But what I love most is how bold this movie is. I can't imagine something like this being produced today without major controversy. Before filming this review, I went ahead and ordered a Blu-ray copy of Never Take Candy from a Stranger because I was that impressed with it. Even still, it's hard to watch. This is going to be difficult when it comes to rewatchability. Part of me wants to watch it again right now, and another part of me knows it's too much. It's sort of emotionally draining. I still can't believe it, and I can't shake that feeling. Never Take Candy from a Stranger is an example of the true definition of horror. If it doesn't scare you or disturb you in some way, that may be even more disturbing than the film itself. A movie hasn't had quite the profound effect on me like this in quite some time. It is undoubtedly unforgettable. I highly, highly recommend watching it, but please proceed with caution. I assure you, as I already mentioned, this one will be getting a controversial view at some point. But until then, please be sure to check out Jason's review of Never Take Candy from a Stranger to hear his thoughts. Have you seen it? If so, what do you think of it? Comment below and let me know. Which Hammer horror production will we review next? Check back tomorrow to find out. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that thumbs up and be kind. Subscribe.